my process on goals is very personal to me, and it's actually applied, all over the world. But my grandfather, who, is no longer with us, he was in the Navy, right? So I was very, very fortunate. 7th and 8th grade, he was the one that was actually driving me back and forth to school. So we had like a lot of conversations, and even my family members don't really know the conversations that went on, but a lot of it was talking about goals, and his mindset was very much,
makes so much sense.
My mindset is very much like his.
Yeah.
So I had stumbled across this podcast or book. I forget where I read it, but the Navy today applies like this process of goals, and they broke it down to this process that I swear my grandfather explained to me. It wasn't in this acronym of SMART, but it is the same type of process from start to finish. My wife and I apply it today. So this acronym SMART, right? It's called the SMART goal. So it's specific for the S, measurable for the M, attainable for the A, realistic for the R, and then the timeline for the T. Mm-hmm. So we'll take you back to the specificity, right? The specific part of the goal. My wife and I knew, okay, we want to buy a house and we want to save X amount of dollars. That was the, I don't want to share the number, but we'll go through the process. Now the M for measurable. We now took a calendar and we marked off every single payroll that we got paid. Like if we got paid on the 1st and the 15th, we would mark that off with X amount of dollars. We'll just call it $500. And every time we did that, we actually wrote it down. So I was able to measure 4 times a month. Am I getting towards this goal? Mm-hmm. Right? So that's the measurable piece to it. That goal then became attainable because over a 5-year process, we not only broke the 5 years down to 1 year, down to once a month. Mm-hmm. So you can constantly see these small amounts being deposited, and then it adds up. And then there's setbacks along the way too. Obviously, if you were trying to save $500, there's times that we have birthdays, weddings, engagements, whatever it is, you give a gift. We would literally write down minus $400, and the plus was only $100. Yeah. So we would see that if we did save the money that we wanted to on the calendar, it'd be a check. If we didn't, it'd be an X through it. So that's the attainable piece. The timeline of it was the 5 years, and we knew that we had to stay on that timeline. But when you break the bigger timeline down, that process there is humongous for people because you get so overwhelmed by like a big goal. You can't get overwhelmed by the long term. Yeah, it's breaking it down to something that's so real. If you can save $20,000 a year and you want to put $100,000 down, do the math. That's the real piece. Yeah. If you can only save $6,000 a year, now that timeline doesn't really work. Yeah. So it's the realistic piece to it. But if you're able to break it down to like little tangible small wins, that is how you start eating the elephant one bite at a time. Come on.